people that maybe aren't predisposed towards a natural introspection, which I think is essential to start to delve into your spiritual side. That makes sense. Like they need something to kind of like the spark plug on an engine. You know, it's the spark, and it fires it up for the first time. But I can tell you, going into yourself when there's a lot of darkness inside you, it's like going into hell. I mean, it's scary. And so I think a lot of people, I think everybody that opens themselves up to their interior spiritual, they're going to find darkness there. And I think you need some kind of training in how to handle that.
Well, I think the biggest problem with that is people don't even acknowledge that it exists.
And that's the first problem.
Yeah, so I mean, sure, preparation and some training from somebody that has done it could be helpful, but I think if most people just acknowledge it, personally, I think the best, because you're dealing with yourself, so who's going to be able to dictate, and why should someone else dictate how you handle that?
I don't think we're supposed to have a subconscious. And that's a crazy idea.
Yeah.
I think we develop it to cope, and I think it's natural. It's a natural coping mechanism when you're not so self-aware.
Right, it's like a primal survival mechanism that we developed so that we could focus on things like gathering food and hunting and not being eaten by a saber-toothed cat, you know.
That's the thing, it's like, spiritually, I came to this place where I was like on the mountaintop. I mean, that's how I felt. I had gone through such a journey in like, thousands of miles up. And the top of the mountain obviously represents transcendence, right?
Right.
So I reached this place, and I was like, just, blown away. It was just so much healing and expanded consciousness, and I was like, okay, everybody needs to be here. This is freaking, like, this is the answer. Like, you're looking for peace and joy, and, like, everything that you really want, this is it. It's not based on the material. But then I was like,
Georgia.
Hey, everybody just needs to come up here. And then I started to realize, like, it's taken me a lifetime to get here. Like, how the fuck do I tell people how to get here?
Yeah.
And that's where I've been the last 3 or 4 years. It's like, well, it was this, I don't even know how I got here. I'm like, I was not in charge of this thing. I made decisions, obviously, along the way to participate with the Holy Spirit. And so that's been the interesting journey. It's like, now I'm like, well, really you just need to tell someone the next step. Like, what's the next step for them? And that to do that, first you gotta know where they are.
I had to figure it all out. I had to, once that interest was sparked, and it was primarily sparked by being told, you're not supposed to do this.
Yeah, I know.
So, and oftentimes when you're told by figures of authority that you're not supposed to do something, there's something to be learned there.
I found more often than not that the main protest is that it challenges their ability to tell you what to do.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, your t-shirt, say it again.
let no man dictate your path with the divine. Well, I've often wondered if it's because they don't want that personal accountability and that responsibility. They would rather palm that off on somebody else. So if
Yeah.
they, you know, like it's gonna matter, okay, you die and you somehow figure out that heaven is not what you were told it was. Well, you can blame the other asshole that told you that's what it was for your entire life. That ties into the harmonic energy we were discussing too. The complete removal of the spiritual from everything and trying to construct it in the physical realm.
And psychological.
It's very similar to trying to keep people from being able to read the Bible. If you're incapable of reading and informing yourself,
Right.
then you have to rely on a power structure to explain it to you.
The priest class, man, is like the religious mafia. It's true.
Yeah.
But they don't get, in my experience and my understanding, they don't get the deeper spiritual things. They understand it as a system of control and power.
Yeah, I don't think they're even interested in that aspect of it.
Exactly. They're the politicians of religion. Religion can put you in a place where you're doing everything it says right. You end up following the very opposite thing it's pointing to. And that's a warning. And that's where I see a lot of religious people, whether Christian or other religion, Islam, following all the rules, but you don't understand the reality beneath them, you can end up in the opposite place.
Well, the very energy that it requires or control over someone else derives from is the very antithesis of God. It's a darkness. If you have to have your boot on somebody's throat to achieve what you're doing, it's
evil.
How could you think it's derived from anything besides the most vile place?
Am I a physical body with a mind, or am I a spirit and soul in a body? Which is higher? Which is first? Well, every religion teaches the spiritual existed before the material, and from the material, or from the spiritual came the material. That simple principle in and of itself reverses almost everything about Western culture, especially modern Western culture.
Well, that's when science and spirituality were cut from the same cloth. They, the basic sciences that we utilize today were often overlapping with spiritual practice in ancient cultures.
Isn't that alchemy?
Yeah, that's probably one of the closest things that we recognize today as the overlapping of science and spirit.
And the last 500 years, when you have the introduction of materialism and naturalism and deism, that's that mindset, and industrialism and democracy, all those things begin to shift away from the spiritual as the a priori, or the foundation of reality, to the material world as the foundation, conceptually and practically.